This is Sunday Satsang, March 30th, 2025. Anybody has any questions? Answers? Have any questions? Yeah.
My name is Madan. I wanted to ask the scene when is so many bhaktis they explain that only one sin is exists is if you forgot the God or love or Krishna. This is the only one sin. And then it means that the bhakti is yoga is the like loving yoga, and then is if you follow this way, this is actually not happen. You make a sin. I'm agree.
There is only one sin is forgetting loving Krishna. There is only one sin. And bhakti yoga is actually a loving process. So will you agree with this? Or that's what it is. The only sin is not loving Krishna. There is no only sin.
The question is asked that the only sin is not loving Krishna.
Forgetting that we have to love Krishna.
Well, the Vedas talk about sadhatam
Sadhatam कहते हैं sadhatam Vishnu और Vismartavya.
sadhatam. What is
Smartavya.
Smartavya sadhatam Vishnu. There's a verse from Vedas that says the essence of all scripture, the essence of all Veda is always remember Krishna and never forget him. So that's another way of saying what you're saying, always love Krishna. Because you can't, if you love someone, you always think of that person. That's what love means. Always thinking, where are they? The mother's always thinking of her son or daughter, where are you? I was worried about you. Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you give me a message? So love creates that intensity of attachment where the person you love takes over your heart, takes over your mind, takes over your dreams. What one sannyasi said, when you love Krishna, Krishna's a total conquest. Krishna's an absolute conqueror. He doesn't just take your house, he burns down everything else. He says he forces you to live with him. So Krishna's this kind of lover. It's me, it's all for me and nobody else. I'll take everything. You put your finger out to Krishna. Okay, Krishna, take my fingers. No, I'll take everything. They have a phrase in India that one form of Vishnu has 10 arms. So there's a very common thing they say in India. If Krishna wants to give you something with his 10 arms, you can't hold so many things he's going to give you. But if Krishna wants to take something from you with his 10 arms, there's no way you can hold on to whatever you're holding on to. Your name, your fame, your house, your name, your fame, your flame. Flame is your lover. That's a colloquial slang word in America. She's my flame. She can burn you also. Fire can cook and also burn. You know? You can cook your subject, you also burn it. So your flame may keep you warm, may burn you to a crisp. You have to watch out for those flames. Anyway, so Krishna has 10 arms, he can take away everything, more than you can hold on to. So yeah, that's in fact, bhakti is about love. But that's the culmination, that's the final point. To get there, you have to remove, we have to do a lot of removal, a lot of cleansing. There's a lot in the way between Krishna on one side, we're on the other side. And between Krishna and us, there's a lot of dirt that has to be removed. It's called Cheto Dharma Marjanam. We have to clean away a lot of greed and anger and lust and envy and desire for material things and other things that aren't Krishna. So in essence, what you say is true. That's the goal, that's the prayojan, that's the destination. To live in loving consciousness, to be in loving consciousness, to live in the land of love, to live in Brajadam, Prem Dham Vrindavan. But it's not as easy as it sounds. We can simply say, oh, Bhakti means love, but it's very hard to attain that love that Bhakti represents. It requires lifetimes of dedication and surrender and service. It's not just a few words from the mouth. That's why all these details of Bhakti Yoga, there's hundreds of books to describe Bhakti Yoga. What is the thinking of a Bhakti Yogi? What is the speaking of a Bhakti Yogi? What is the planning of a Bhakti Yogi? What is the world of a Bhakti Yogi? What is the internal world of a Bhakti Yogi? What is the external world? How does he or she arrange the internal world? How does he or she arrange the external world? All this is described in the books. These are cookbooks for prema. Like you have a cookbook, you can learn how to cook different recipes to make different breads and salads and vegetables and casseroles and pies and cakes and creams and all kinds of things from recipe books. So our books are cookbooks for prema. How to think like a loving devotee, how to be a loving devotee. It's the school of love. So there's many different subjects and many things to be learned. This is the greatest knowledge, is the knowledge of love. We have learned so many things we learn very expertly how to hurt, how to divide, how to cause suffering, how to lord it over, how to control, how to divide, how to fight. We're very expert in all these things. But in harmony and peace and cooperation and love, we're not very expert. So Krishna's land of Vrindavan is a land of harmony and cooperation and support and respect and honor. Radharani sends Krishna to go meet with Sakhis to enjoy. That's not from this world. We never send an object of enjoyment away from us. We're trying to pull objects of enjoyment towards us. More objects of enjoyment. The most enjoyable object, the most enjoyable person is Krishna. Radharani says, go to other Sakhis, they're waiting for you. I'll rest, I'll be okay. So that's a nice idea. I agree with what you said, Bhakti. That's all it means. But to get there, it's not easy. Smartavya Sadhana Vishnu.
Vismartavya na jatu chit.
Vismartavya
Na jatu chit.
Najatu Chit. Yeah, this is Kinkari. The verse ends Kinkari. That's a cool verse. Always think of Krishna being Kinkari. Must be a good day today. Someone's getting married. New Year? Last year. Last few minutes of freedom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that was fine. That's from Padma Purana. It's in Madhya Lila also. 22nd chapter. It's, I guess, not in secret. First, he's trying to quote all the key verses. Huh? Sarva Vidi Nisheda. This is all rules and regulations. They're all kinkars, all servants of this one. Etayo. These two principles. Vidi Nisheda. Rules and do's and don'ts. Sarva. All do's and don'ts. This is the main thing. Do remember Krishna and don't forget him. That's the essence. Smartavya Satatam Vishnu. Satatam, always Vishnu. Smarta means Smriti, always remember Krishna. Vismriti, don't forget him. So it's another way of saying, always love me, never stop loving me. Manmana Bhavamad Bhakta Madhyati Mam Namaskru Mami Vaishasi Satyante Pratijane Priyosime. 18th chapter, 65th verse is the same rule. Krishna says, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, bow down to me. This way you become priya, you become dear to me. Smartavya Satatam Vishnu Smartavya Natatuche Sarvadini Sheda Shura Etaya Evakinkara. Nice verse. Jaya Radhe. What happens if that Paul goes away? Oh. We fall off the veranda. Hope we gotta pray there's not an earthquake. I was in the Radha Damodar temple living there in 1990. In Prabhupada's kitchen there was an earthquake in Hardware. And the wooden windows, they were shaking. The earthquake was felt in Vrindavan in 1990. And the floor was going like this. I said, wow. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. I was just getting up, I didn't know what I was dreaming or what. But the windows were going boom, boom, boom. I didn't really know what to do. I was too tired to do anything. I guess I was supposed to be scared and run away. I was quite comfortable. I sleep in the kitchen though. So I was and then I woke up and I found out it was an earthquake in Hardware. 6.5 or something, pretty heavy one. Oh, it was 7, it was all the way down Vrindavan. Russian house is not earthquake proof. So it calls, boom. Is there any question? There's a phrase that Prabhupada used to say, because Prabhupada was a very grave personality. He was he had a good sense of humor. Most of the time in public, when he wasn't in an intimate room conversation or morning walk or some situation where it was just and confidential, Antaranga Bhaktas of disciples of Prabhupada, he was very sober in public. very sober, and he looked very serious, almost looked unhappy. So there's many pictures of Prabhupada in New York in 1966 when he first arrived there. In different newspapers, Prabhupada was looking very grave. And so one newspaper asked him, "Why do you look so sad?" And Prabhupada said this phrase in Bengali, or maybe it's Sanskrit, I'm not sure because they're very similar. I don't know where it's from, but probably you can find it in Prabhupada's folio. He said, Vaishnavara, maybe it's just a common saying in Bengali. Vaishnavara yavahara sarva dukkha antara sarva sukha. You may see that a Vaishnava devotee is suffering and unhappy externally, but internally he is relishing the greatest happiness. Vaishnavara yavahara sarva dukkha. Yavahara means behavior, characteristic. Yavahara. Sarva means like all unhappy, but antar, inside he's all happy. So I gave this an example of my notes in Gambhir Leela. When Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri in Gambhir Leela, he was living underground in a cave in the house of Kashi Mishra on the, I think it's called Swargadwara Road. It's called Swargadwara Road. It goes from east of Jagannath Temple to the ocean. On the ocean there's a shamshan ground, cremation ground. It's called Swargadwara. Dwara means gateway, door, and Swarga means heaven. So when you get burned up there, you go to heaven. That's the idea, Swargadwara. So the road is called the road to heaven. You go down the end of this road, lie on the wood and get burned up and you go to heaven. Not recommended. Better you stay in the Jagannath Temple and eat Mahaprasad, then you go to Vaikuntha. With burn or no burn. If you're alive, you'll be in Vaikuntha. If you're dead, you'll go to Jagannath. So, Lord Chaitanya, when he was living in that cave, when you go there to Kashi Mishra's house, there's a mandir of Radha Kunda. Deities of Radha Kunda, Radharani and Radha Kunda, Krishna. And there's a little room there, they say that's the Gambhira. That's not the Gambhira. Gambhira is underground. And if you make friends with the Mahanta of the temple and give him a good donation, they'll show you the underground room. But in that room, they make it look like a little prison. But the room was underground. It was called a basement. And it had very rough stones. There's a type of stone that appears in the ground of Jagannath Puri. It's some kind of, I don't know what the name of it is, just some name of the rock. It looks like meteorites, like surface of the moon or something. There's all craters in it, all concavities. It's very, very rough surface, like, little depressions in the, and it's like sandpaper. It's really rough. The big blocks like that on the earth, they cut them out and make boundary walls with them, make houses with them. So that was used for the foundation of Kashi Mishra's house. And that's in the walls of the Gambhira. Lord Chaitanya's cheeks, his transformed body is softer than baby skin. He was grinding his face on the walls. There's no plaster, there's no smooth plaster, just rough stone. He's grinding it, but they're cut, and blood is coming. And Govinda Das, his servant, shined a lantern there at night, and Lord Chaitanya was saying this sound, going gong, 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 and grinding his face on the wall, and all blood coming. So externally it looks like he's suffering, but in his heart he was relishing Mahabhava Radharani. So it's very extraordinary Leela of Lord Chaitanya, called Gambhira Leela. Gambhira means cave, Gambhira means secret, Gambhira means confidential. So that's going on in Puri. So that's an example of externally it looks like he's miserable and suffering, but internally he's relishing greatest bliss. Or leave us inconceivable. Versus then it became a pumpkin, became Kurma Chaitanya, his arms went inside, the head went inside. These Jagannath has arms sticking out. Jagannath, big arms, no legs, no neck, just a face, no neck, but arms. Versus then no arms, no legs, everything inside. That's why he's found it like that. Where's his arms? Legs? No legs. It looks like a golden pumpkin. Kurma Chaitanya is called. It's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Gambhira Leela. There's so much separation. This is the effect of Radharani's Mahabhava in Krishna. Radharani didn't show that form, but when Krishna tried to understand the depth and extent of Radharani's love of Mahabhava, it completely contorted his body. He couldn't contain that Mahabhava. Most inconceivable, indescribable, never seen or experienced anywhere in any book, in any avatar, the ecstasies shown by Lord Chaitanya. And this type of love of Radharani he came to give to the world. Pretty extraordinary avatar. Patita Pavan Avatar, Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki.
Jai.
Any question? Any next question? There's a next question there.
We are told that Diksha is the beginning of spiritual life. So how is it that the body becomes spiritual at Diksha? Many devotees struggle after Diksha. So it's hard to understand that a conditioned soul's body can be spiritual simply because they have taken Diksha. Can you please clarify?
The question is, the Diksha, one's body becomes spiritual. So, and we see after devotees, before devotees get initiated, and after devotees get initiated, there's suffering. So, what's going on here? Before they got initiated, they obviously didn't have a spiritual body. But after they're initiated, they got a spiritual body. So, what's going on? So that's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That verse is there. You know that verse? Yeah, that's a good verse. Lord Chaitanya, the question is how we can say the spiritual body is spiritual. So the answer is how could the devotee can say anything?
By Shastra.
Right. Whatever a devotee says must come from Shastra. Because all we're talking about is spiritual subjects. And we're material beings, so we don't have any understanding of spiritual subjects. So your question is the proof of that. You understand? I don't understand. How is this possible? So let's see what Lord Chaitanya says. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 4, verse 192 and 193. There's 3 verses here. Actually, 491 also. I mean, 190.
94.
94, I guess, yeah. On to chapter 4, verse 192, 3 and 4. Lord Chaitanya says, so to answer your question, how do we say spiritual? They suffer. Prabhu means Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Vaishnava Deya Prakriti Kabu Nai. The Vaishnava, the body of the Vaishnava is not made of Prakriti. Bhumira Pavana Lovayu Kamana Buddha Evacha. Ahankara Itiya Main Prakriti.
Binna Prakriti Rastada.
Binna Prakriti Rastada. That the 8 material energies, Lord Chaitanya says, Kabu Nai. The body is not made of material energy. What is the body made of after Diksha? Aprakrita Deya Bhaktir Chidanandamaya. The body of the Vaishnava, of the Bhakta Deya is aprakrita, spiritual, not material. What kind of spiritual? Chit and Ananda. Chit means Samvit Shakti, Ananda means Ladni Shakti. Because Bhakti, Shakti, Bhakti, you get Bhakti from Guru and Diksha, through the mantra and through the process and through surrender. Bhakti is placed in the heart. Bhakti is a combination of two spiritual energies, Sarva Shakti. Samved Shakti, which means wisdom, and Ladni Shakti, which means love, propensity to love, propensity to serve, and be served and be loved. So that's what Bhakti means. So that means Chit Ananda Maya. Maya means composed of, made of, saturated. So then he says, when does all this happen? When does all this happen? When does the material body become spiritual? According to Lord Chaitanya, Diksha Kali, Bhakta Kali, Atma Samarpan, Se Kali, Krishna Tari, Kari, Atma Sama. At the time of Diksha, the devotee becomes equal to Krishna, Atma Samarpan. He has Atma Samarpan. Arpan means he worships, he offers his Atma to Krishna and to Guru. Atma means body, Atma means soul, Atma means mind. And then Se Kali Krishna. At that time, Krishna makes him Atma Sam, equal to himself. And then in that body, Se Deha Kari Tara Chidanandamai, Aprakrita Deha Chana Charana Bhajai. Charana Bhajai means bhajan, Charana Bhajan. In that spiritualized body, the devotee serves Krishna. So after the devotee gets initiated, he's suffering. We're suffering to the degree that we identify with the body, we identify with the material body and material mind. But if we remember, I'm not this material body, I have a spiritual body. My spiritual body is made of bhakti. My spiritual body is supposed to serve Krishna. So let me engage in Krishna's service. And as soon as we engage in Krishna's service, what happens? The suffering stops. Because seva is
bliss.
Seva is bliss. So when we after get initiated, we see devotees who are suffering, means we're not doing seva. What's the way to get out of suffering? Like Prabhupada, so many suffering devotees went to Prabhupada. Oh Prabhupada, I'm suffering. My wife is making me suffer. My husband is making me suffer. My temple commander is making me suffer. My temple president is making me suffer. What should I do, Prabhupada? Just chant Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, it works. Probably it works. You're right. I'm not suffering anymore. Like, take 1 cup of sweet rice 3 times a day and chant 3 rounds and come back in 1 week. That worked, I'm cured. Oh, okay. What's wrong with a little suffering anyway? What are you complaining about? What's your problem complaining about suffering? That's part of the package, man. Little variety is good, you know. Always being healthy and happy is so boring, you know. Have a headache, stomach ache, you give you something to complain about, make a bunch of noise about, you know. And try to get some sympathy from your friends, you know. Oh, I'm suffering. Oh, it's okay, you know. You're a good kid, you know. Oh, thank you. It's a great way to get some sympathy and get somebody to rub your head, give you some, you know, take TLC, you know, tender loving care. I used to like it when I got sick, you know. My mother started paying attention to me. Because when I was healthy, she ignored me. I just be playing, going to school, and she wasn't paying much attention to me. I was an automatic pilot, you know. I was landing and taking all automatic, you know. So I said, oh, I'm going to be okay, put this in there, you know. I can't eat, I'm here, okay, I make you a special orange juice for you. I get the frozen orange juice, and I make it, and I mix it with a lot of water, and I add some sugar to it, make it very thin, because you drink it straight upset in your stomach. Make all kinds of special arrangements for being sick. And she made this special soup with lentils, like you make. And I always like that, but I only get it when I'm sick, you know. So I feel good, I'm sick, I'm gonna get lentils soup. So being sick is fun. Then you appreciate when you're good. Oh, God. Yeah, it's just a self-lila, you know. Sukha dukkha. Flip the coin, there's two sides of the coin. Happiness and distress. Okay. Birth, death, happiness, distress, rich, poor, ugly, beauty, stupid, intelligent. The world's like that. It's not too serious, nothing to be serious about. There's a much higher plane of absorption available to every human being. Some birds fly from tree to tree. Some birds fly from London to New York. Canadian geese, they fly 5,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean from London to Canada. Pretty big, good. So you can fly pretty high if you want, or you can stay low. You go from tree to tree. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with that one. That's roaming mode. Any other questions? Sri Krishna, are you on Tatusta region or what? I don't know, you're Antaranga or Vairanga or?
No, I left my kutir in a hurry, right, to come here, and I forgot my shirt, so I'm a little shy.
Forgot shirt because of
Who needs one?
I'm just a little shy.
I thought you were the only intelligent guy here.
If I was a 50-year-old male, I wouldn't be shy, but I'm a 10-year-old girl, so I'm a little shy. That's why I'm sitting back here. It's a little strange for me. What to do? I can't
Sure, you should lend the poor girl a shirt. Give the girl your sweater.
No, don't. No, I'll just get a stinky. That's just why I'm quiet.
We'll look at you through the eyes of Mahanidhi Swami.
That would be glorious. Thank you.
We see you in your manjari soup, so you're fully covered. You're cool.
I got my sorry.
Yeah, you have your story and you're good.
Thank you.
Your head's covered with your veil because you're in public. When you get out to the forest, you can throw your veil off. Okay. Any questions more? Next question?
Yes, Gurudev. Maharaj, can you please explain what do the husbands of gopis feel towards Krishna?
What do the husbands of the gopis feel towards Krishna? Not much. They're too busy with cows, you know. They don't know what's going on too much. They think that their wives are sleeping next to them because Yogamaya makes a duplicate copy of their wife out of Mahamaya. So, if you're with your wife at night, you're not worried too much about anything. In the daytime, you're with the cows. At nighttime, with your wife cow. I mean, you're with your wife. So they're not very worried about Krishna. Because Krishna's with their wife, but the wife is the spiritual body. She's a prakrita deha. But the real wife is Krishna's energy. Ananda Chinmaya Saprati Bhava Tabi Tabiri Eva Nijirupatiya Kalabi Goloke Vaniva Sadhya Kadapa Muto Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajam. They're the Kilatma, the expansion of Krishna's own body. The so-called wives of the gopis are Krishna's expansions. So the Bhagavatam Sugamoti says, when Krishna is dancing with the gopis, it's like a boy dancing with his shadow. There's no impropriety, there's no immorality if you're dancing with your own shadow. So we say, you're dancing with my wife's shadow. It's not your wife's shadow, it's my shadow. Your wife's in your bed, go jump on her. leave me alone now. I'm busy with my shadow. So Krishna's dancing with the gopis is like you dancing with your shadow. So the answer is the husbands they don't feel any animosity, any jealousy, any hatred towards Krishna. Because they don't know anything about it. They don't feel any separation. They're clearly unaware that Krishna is with their wife. This is described in the commentaries on Rasalila chapter by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as Sarja Darshini. He describes how Yogamaya makes duplicates for the wives of the gopis. So when the cowboys go to bed at night, their wives are lying right next to them. But the spiritual forms of their wives are dancing under the moonlight on the bank of the Yamuna and Vamshiva. There was Soligram and Chandrasarovar and all the different places where Rasalila goes on. Well, how's the name? The whole thing is so exciting, actually. It's all just coming out of Krishna. It's a drama, Leela. Oh. Yeah. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. Shama Shama Ki Jai. So, good morning. Everyone sleep well last night? Question.
How to always think oneself as a beginner, but also feel qualified to strive for the highest attainment in bhakti? Aren't they opposites?
What's the last one?
How to always think oneself as a beginner, at the same time also feel qualified to strive for the highest attainment in bhakti?
The question is how to always feel like one's a beginner in bhakti and how to strive for the
Highest attainment.
highest attainment.
Aren't they opposites? Aren't they opposites?
Aren't they opposites? No, they're not opposites. First, they're not opposites. The answer to both questions is one answer. By always reading about the lives of the great saints. It's a very important aspect of Bhakti Bhajan. We have books like Bhakti Ratnakara, Murali Vilas, Prem Vilas, Bhakti Ratnakara, and Gaudiya Vaisnava, Charita, and Saints of Braj by Obel Kapoor, Saints of Bengal, and Navadas wrote a book about 500 years ago called Bhaktamal, and there's many biographies, Gaudiya Vaisnava biography, Vaisnamadis and biographies. There's many biographies of great Vaishnavas. By reading the life stories of great Vaishnavas, one gets inspired to attain the highest goal of Krishna Prem, and one realizes that he's far from the goal, so he realizes that he or she is only a beginner. When you read about the perfect Siddha Mahatmas, how they struggled, how they attained perfection by doing lifelong bhajan, then you can understand that you're also a beginner, and you can hope that your bhajan may become also siddhi or perfect, because you see that they became perfect by doing bhajan for 50, 60 years. So it's very important and very essential to read about the lives of the great Vaishnavas, to have the mood of always being a beginner and be, what's the other part? Beginner.
And also strive for the highest attainment.
And also strive for the highest attainment.
At the same time.
At the same time. Another answer to striving for the highest attainment is by reading about the spiritual world and the people in the spiritual world that you want to be with. When you read about Radha Krishna Lila and the glories and activities and exchanges of Radharani and Krishna and the Sakhis and Yashoda and all the different Brijvasis, that's a great inspiration to get there, to be with them. So that's another answer to the second part, which is how to be inspired to attain that highest goal by always hearing about it, the dealings and exchanges. The highest goal is to become a Brijvasi lover of Radha and Krishna, and one of the Stairatis of Madhurati, Vatsairati, Sakirati, or Dasirati. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized amorous love of Radha and Krishna, Madhurati, which means Gopi's love for Krishna, Radharani's love for Krishna. So always hearing about pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the Gopis, and remembering them and hearing about them, meditating on them, will inspire one to attain that reality, attain that qualification, and that purity and that love to become one of them. Become Gopi Ananukata, become Rupa Nuga, become a Rupa Raghunatha, Rupa Raghunatha follower. No, I'm not thinking so. We say Rupa Raghunatha, Rupa Nuga. Then I was talking to Satyanandan, my friend Satyanandan Das. I said, we're not Rupa Nugas, we're Rupa Raghunathas. We're Rupa Raghunatha Nugas. He liked that. Because the term Rupa Nuga is not found in Goswami books anywhere. Interesting enough. It's from IGM. Rupa Nuga. It's a fact we're following Rupa Goswami, but more specifically we're following Rupa Raghunath. As Krishnadas Kaviraj says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Rupa Raghunath, some Edivayu Chaudhary said. I forget what verse. I don't know. Who's that?
Sadhu Maharaj.
Oh, Sadhu Maharaj. Dhanyavad, Jai Radhe Shah. I'm blessed, I'm truly blessed. My eyes have attained perfection. Thank you.
He's coming to Radha Kunda now.
He's coming here?
Yeah, he's coming here 1 hour approximately.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe. Dhanyavad. Okay. So that's that question. Any other question?
Jiva Goswami describes in Bhakti Sandarbha about Swarup Siddha Bhakti, Navavida Bhakti and Swarup Siddha Bhakti. And Rupa Goswami says about Anya Abhilash Darshunyam Jnana Karma Janavritam Anukulyan Krishna Anushilana Bhakti Rustam. And in Bhagavatam there are many devotees who followed Swarup Siddha Bhakti. They all come under this verse. And like Prahlad Maharaj, all those come under Swarup Siddha Bhakti devotees, but they all also come under this verse.
A very good question. We see many devotees in Bhagavatam are following what is described as Swarup Siddha Bhakti. Swarup Siddha Bhakti means basically Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Okay. Hearing and chanting, remembering Krishna as the primary lens of bhakti is called Swarup Siddha Bhakti, because that is what is going on in the spiritual world in Swarup. Everyone in the spiritual world has Swarup, has spiritual body. My individual Nitya Swarup, what we call Siddhadeha, it also we call Swarup Siddhi. So Swarup Siddhi means perfection of having a spiritual body, serving Krishna in the spiritual world. So what kind of service is Radharani doing in Subal and Sridham? They're doing hearing and chanting and remembering Radha and Krishna throughout the day and night. Radharani remembers Krishna when she dreams. That's pastimes with Krishna in the dream. It's called Swapnamrita Vilas. Swapnamrita Amrita. Nectar pastimes in a dream. So the question is asked, is this type of bhakti that Prahlad Maharaj and other devotees in Bhagavatam are doing, which on one level can be described as Swarup Bhakti, Swarup Siddha Bhakti, is this the equivalent of the definition of pure bhakti which is given by Rupa Goswami in First Wave, Eastern Wave, Chapter 1, Verse 11, Anyavilasya? The answer is no. Because all this type of bhakti is described by Rupa Goswami. The type of bhakti you're describing from the Bhagavatam is mentioned in the Padma Puran, that verse that's also quoted in Bhakti Sindhu, which is the basis for the further elaboration of Rupa Goswami. That verse is being Sarvapati Vinirmuktam Tatpradaya Nirmala Rishikena Seva Bhakti. That Uttama Bhakti definition applies to this true Siddha Bhakti or Prahlad Maharaj. But the Bhakti that is described on Nabhilashi Shuddham, that's Braj Bhakti.
Yes.
That's Braj Bhakti of gopis and cowherd boys and Yashoda and Nanda. They're in Vaikuntha. Kunti and all that. All those people in Vaikuntha, they're all worshipping Vrindavan.
Yes.
Shiva, Brahma, everyone. They're also doing, Rama is also doing Siddha Bhakti. He must be a rock in Barcelona. He became, how many rocks he became?
4.
He became 4 hills. Brahma became 4 Parvats. Mangar, Dangar, Vilasgar, and Mandirgars, Srijigar. There's 4 hills. One's called Mangar, Vilasgar, Dangar, and Srijigar, where the mandir is. They're all heads of Brahma. So his heads became rocks. Sometimes we say I have a rock head. Your head's like a rock, you know. So Brahma, so this is the Bhakti of Vrajavasi. Very minute, no karma, no gyan, karma, navritam. So minute description. When I gave classes on this Bhakti Sindhu in 2010 or so, like that, for 8 days, I gave like 10 hours or 15 hours classes on Bhakti Sindhu. Quite a year there, we were bringing the verse down a little bit fast this time. I really got into it then. Described it 100 different ways, it's so important.
That's good. Understood.
Good question. 1,000 questions. That's from Govinda Net. Y Net. Y Twitter. Question. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. When Jiva Goswami describes about Nam Bhajan in Bhakti Sandarbha, he describes, it's called Bhajan Krama. What does that mean?
The sequences.
What does Trivikram mean?
3 steps.
That means
Vikram means big
So what does
steps.
Kram mean?
Steps.
Steps, sequence, krama. So there's steps of Nam Bhajan. And he explains, generally there's 2 stages of Nam Bhajan. Namavrad and
Right Kunda.
Vaikuntha Rohan is described in the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti, 6th Canto Bhagavatam, Chapter 2, a Jamil story. He describes 2 stages in chanting, Avrad, Namavrad, and Vaikuntha Rohana. Vaikuntha Rohana can also be called Shuddhanam. And Vaikuntha Rohana is when they're not longer making any offenses. So at the stage of Nishtha, it's called Vaikuntha Rohana in the making. When you get to Nishtita Bhakti and chanting at the level of Nishtha, then you can honestly say you're Arohana, Vaikuntha Rohana. Arohana means rising. I'm now rising to Vaikuntha. Because really Bhakti begins at Nishtha. Nartanivritti is clearing stage, you can say. It's just called Avrad. It's Avrad. So then you come Nishtha, you're going to Vaikuntha. Ruchi, you're going faster. Asakti, you're going faster to Vaikuntha. Bhava, you have 1 foot in Vaikuntha. And Prema, you have your tail You got your 2 feet, your hands, and your tail. You're Hari Katha. Everything's there. And you got the frame up. So there, when he talks about the steps in bhajan, he said, when you're chanting Hare Krishna, when your subconscious mind, which is called chitta, Chetodharma Marjana, when the chitta becomes purified, the form of Krishna will rise in your mind. You'll see a form of Krishna. That's the first krama, first step in non-bhajan. And until that happens, you won't experience the second step. The second step is the qualities of Krishna will manifest. Kindness, compassion, all the different 64 qualities will manifest in the mind. That's why, so this is way before we get to Leela. First you realize that the name is Krishna, that this name is Krishna. You're convinced there's no difference between Krishna and his form and his qualities. This philosophical truth manifests while chanting, deeply in your mind. Your mind is purified. Then the form will be seen, will come in the mind. And then the qualities will, you're meditating Krishna's form, and the qualities will rise in your mind. You'll perceive the qualities. So what comes after qualities? The interesting thing that comes after qualities, you'll see and perceive different associates of Krishna. To show, it depends on what your meditation is, what your sthairati is, what your inclination is, who you're meditating on. So you'll perceive the associates of Krishna and the sthairati which you're desiring. Means if you're aspiring for madhurati, amorous love, like gopis, then you'll see you have darshan and radharani, Lita Vishaka, Ruparati Manjari, in a Manjari form. And then that's the...
Then Leela, the third step.
That's the fourth step.
Third step.
Nam is Krishna, then form is... The first step is Nam is Krishna, second step is form, third one is qualities, fourth one is parishads, associates, fifth one is seva. So the fifth stage of chanting Hare Krishna, you'll see your seva. You actually meditate your seva. And the sixth step is Leela. So he says, you can't do Leela Swaran until you get to the sixth krama, to the sixth stage. At that stage, Shud Antakaran. He said the Antakaran means the internal internal faculties of mind and intelligence are sufficiently purified to enable one to see Leela, after all the other steps have been crossed. So it's a little bit of a headbreaker. So he's got to do a lot of chanting, keep chanting, and we can try to think. That's why I say you chant and you think of Leela. We're thinking of Leela, but Swaran is not thinking of Leela. Swaran is the Leela is manifesting in the unconscious mind. My Guru used to say, the Leela will come to you. So what we're doing, we're trying to get impressions. We're trying to make some scars of Leela by reading about Leela, thinking about Leela, meditating on Leela. This is all very good, but this is not exactly Swaran. This is where you have, there's 5 levels of meditation. One is called recollection, which is called simple Smaran. But it's not the Smaran that the Goswamis are describing when they say Leela Smaran. There's 5, Dhruva Goswami describes in Bhakti Sindhu 5 levels of Smaran. First is Smaran. Then there's Dharana. No, Smaran, Pratyahara. No. Smaran, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Jivana-smriti. There's 5.
5 years, Guru. Smaran, Dharana,
Smaran, Dharana,
Dhyana,
Dhyana, Jivana-smriti.
Samadhi.
So this Smaran, the Samadhi is Lila Smaran. Samadhi stays Lila Smaran. After Jivana Sriti, after Dhyana, after Dharana, civil, just like I think of a Lila somehow in the day. That's civil remembrance. So we just keep going, keep practicing. Because whatever you think of, that's what you'll attain eventually. So that's why we shouldn't think we're actually doing Lila Smaran. Because the Leelas will come to us when the mind is pure. And the only way the mind gets pure is by Nam Bhajan. He's told in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, he's told in Bhakti Sri Sindhu, he's told in Bhakti Sandarbha. You can't avoid Nam Sankirtan. So generally, IGM thinks that Raghunath Bhaktis only do Smaran. So they say, you guys don't do any chanting. But actually we should do more chanting than they do. So that's why we always say, because usually they make the IGM, this can go to your mouth, they insinuate that those that are doing Rag Bhakti, they're simply doing Smaran, not saying japa. So they're kind of insulting us. They say, you guys aren't doing japa. But we chant japa while we're meditating on Leela. That's what we do. We're chanting japa, we're meditating on Leela. We're not just meditating on Leela, we're chanting japa along with it. To get that shoot on, to get that purified mind, so the Leela will manifest it. It's not manifest, it will come on its own. When the Leela arises on its own, and we see it when we just close our eyes, then we can understand our minds become purified by Nam Bhajan. That's what Jiva Goswami is describing about the Sandarbha. So it's a lot of work. Yeah.
So what is the qualification for Leela Smaran? Actual qualification, or how to differentiate if it's you're doing Chintan or actual Leela Smaran?
The question is, what's the qualification for Leela Smaran? Jiva Goswami describes in Bhakti Sandarbha, what verse is it? 304 or something like that. He said, shoot antakaran, the mind must be pure. So, but the thing is that meditating on Krishna's Leela is very purifying practice also. So, we're doing meditation, it's called Chintan. Chintan means we're thinking of Leela, we're reading about Leela, thinking. But Smaran is a different thing. The Leela Smaran is Leela's arising in our pure mind. We see it. We see her today, we see her on Krishna, we see Leela. And when does that happen? That can happen anytime if the Yoga Maya wants to give that vision. But that vision will happen very steadily when we come to Bhava Bhakti. But it can come before that at the level of Nishtha, usually the level of someone's Nishtita, Ruchi, the level of Ruchi or Nishtita, to have that experience of some Swarti, some vision of Leela in the subconscious mind. And then it can be some type of real Smaran. Now we're just trying to push away our material samskaras by replacing them with spiritual samskaras. Push away all the material pictures, material attachments by injecting spiritual pictures and spiritual attachments. And that's what it means. There's two kinds of samskaras. There's material samskaras and spiritual samskaras. I probably use the analogy, you have a cup of ink. You have 200 milliliters of black ink. So you pour 50 ml of milk in it, the milk will turn black. Or you keep pouring more milk in, more, like 2 liters of milk, pretty soon all the black ink will be displaced, will come out of the cup will be filled with milk. So this is what meditation, what chanting japa does, what all bhakti bhajan does. It throws out all the dirt and fills up with all good, pure things. Like when you first come to bhakti bhajan, you had dreams. You had dreams about what? About your material life before a devotee. But after some years in bhakti, when you have dreams, it's all about Rath Yatra, it's all about Murtis, it's all about Leelas, it's all spiritual dreams. It's everyone's experience. Because the subconscious mind has been changed by Bhakti Bhajan. That's the proof. Your own dreams are proof of the transformation of your chitta, which is your subconscious mind, which is where dreams appear. So the qualification for smarn is twofold. One is the pure mind, the other is greed. You have a greed, you want to do it, you want to think about these things and hear about these things as much as possible. So Krishna reciprocates with that greed. Krishna, the ultimate monitor of a bhakti sadhana, is Bhagavan, Krishna himself. He's seeing all our endeavor, and he's giving us reward, and because the keys are with him. He can unlock the treasure of Leela and manifest it whenever he wants to. That's why sometimes we get a very profound experience of Leela Smaran, even in the beginning stages. It is a gift from Krishna. For a half hour, 1 hour, you can be locked into a Leela. That's a gift of Krishna. And then he withdraws it. But he shows you this is the real thing. On the highest level of prema, like Raghunath, they're swimming in and out of Leela every second. They go in Leela for 5 minutes or half hour, we don't even know how long. It's hard to judge. And they come out, and then they cry and lament, then they go back in, then they cry and lament and go back in. Like, you see kids at a swimming pool. They love to dive. They go up the diving board, boing, and they dive up. And then they run out of the pool and run up again as fast again, boing. There's the thrill of diving. So as soon as they finish one dive, they run up the diving board and do a second dive. So the thrill of experiencing Leela and Smaran and meditation makes one want to have another experience. Run up the diving board, dive again, no water in the pool, boing. You don't get another experience. I was talking to one of my friends. We took Siddha Pranay in 1980. He says that, I said, and he's a very serious devotee also, very learned and very serious devotee in bhajan. I said, how often do you have absorption in Leela? He said, every couple times a year. I said, really? Yeah, it's not so. He said, he tells me, one time, he said one time he was in a kirtan at Teen Kori Goswami's ashram at Shamakund. And it was afternoon, they were doing Leela Kirtan in Karti. He went in and he heard the kirtan, just listening to music, and he didn't even enter the Leela of that kirtan. Just the music was so good. He went into a trance and went into another Leela in his mind that he had read about for a half hour. He didn't come out of Leela until the drums stopped and Kartan stopped. Wow. He had a very profound experience of experienced Leela through the medium. It wasn't the Leela being described in the Kirtan. This whole setting and whole bhav, and it was just a gift of Krishna. So that's most experience if you have it. It's a special time it comes. But Jiva Goswami makes a very clear description of this krama and nam krama, how remembrance comes. He says you can't go on to the next step until you clear one step. So we're kind of like we're seeking a little bit. But knowing that we're not really there, but we're just trying to, look over the fence, Like in New York City, they built big skyscrapers, and on the sidewalk they blocked it so nobody can see what they're doing underground, making foundation, and nobody can fall in the big hole. So they go way down the ground, make a foundation. So the big walls around, but they put little holes in the fence. People can look and see a little bit. Can't see too much, but they can see a little bit. So we kind of peek into the Leela, see a little bit. Oh, it's really nice in there. That's why they gave us all these books. They didn't say, don't read this book till you come to Prema. It's not being said. They're books for bhajan. We read about these things. But we have to understand and be honest to assess our qualification. We don't go around, I'm doing this one. Yeah, right, come on. You say you're doing Leela Smaran, I say you're doing Leela Snoring. 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 Not smarring, you're doing snoring. You're reading about, oh, this is very nice, Govinda Lila Amrita, Project Lila. That's really nice. You read 2 pages, you go to sleep. Prabhupada started this whole idea. They used to have us take a cup of hot milk at night and read Krishna book. Before you read 1 page of Krishna book, you're already falling asleep. Everybody is falling asleep. In the room, we take hot milk, and one nobody's reading. There are 50 brahmacharis in the room. And the next room is the sleeping room. This is prasadam room. Hare Krishna, Kalagasura, this, that. And the boys are already sleeping. And the boy close the book. The close book really make a noise, go. And they'll take a big silver Krishna book. Big book, like big size, big book. 3 books, Krishna. You go, go, there we go. They go to sleep. I never saw it. Drink hot milk. So we do this story. Any other question? Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe.